What is up, gamers? It's your boy the Goons. We are here for episode number 10. Number 10. Last time we used our fingers for realsies of Narcissu. We're on Narcissu second. I think we are still on the fucking prologue. maybe these are actually... Maybe these are actually chapters at this point. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. Those dazzling days. Those summer days. Summer 1999, Setsumi! Burning sunlight and the sound of cicadas. Today also looked like it would be a hot day. The third summer I faced since the day I was hospitalized. Oh shit. My family moved from the freestanding home we had long lived in to an apartment, and mother started working part-time in a nearby takeout lunch shop. The meaning behind it all even I could understand. Hospital fees were no joke. In the ward, every day was a conversation topic for the patients. I came to know the patients themselves felt a responsibility to their families far more than the families could imagine. And then, the small, old, slightly dirty wooden building that was our new home. On top of being smaller, Father's daily commute stretched to over 2 hours! Meanwhile, the distance I had to take to the hospital became a 3-minute walk. From the front of that beat-up, cramped apartment, Father said, "The air here is nice and feels good, doesn't it?" Saying that, he smiled, and Mother smiled the same way. Because the heat might aggravate my health, they put an air conditioner in my room. Of course, no other room had one. And Mother, who started going to that part-time job, often brought back croquettes and fries for me, saying they were leftovers. In that cramped room we ate together. Always, they smiled happily. It was very painful. Their Fuck, can I talk? Can I speak? Thoughtfulness was unbearably painful. Instead of feeling thankful or happy, I was filled with guilt. It's your fault. Probably that's what I wanted them to say. I wanted them to blame me more. Being treated kindly hurt. I remember uncontrollable feelings of irritation, even anger towards myself. If God were around, I wanted him to quickly heal me, or if that wasn't possible, to let me die now. Everyone else was in the middle of erasing my existence. But in contrast, my parents sought to make me stand out. That was much more painful. Even as I was being treated kindly, I hated myself for being unable to repay it. I cursed the fact that one of the countless misfortunes in the world happened to fall on me by chance. In such times, smiling and putting on cheerful air may have been what I was supposed to do. But all I was able to manage was to quietly eat the fries that I didn't really like that much. There was no silence in the air, the burning sun and cries of cicadas. When the white rainy season clouds cleared and it had turned completely into summer, after being readmitted to the hospital for the nth time, finally I was discharged. But that wasn't the end of things. The word discharge also meant until the next time I was admitted, the beginning of a long life of outpatient care. Under the blazing sky today, I walked again the 3 minutes distance in my pajamas. To my mother, who had offered to come along, I replied, "It's alright." In my own way, it was supposed to be out of consideration for her, but the desolate look on her face at my words had also hurt. My feet happened to stop before some school. Most likely it was an elementary school. Since it was already summer vacation, there weren't many people in sight. In front of that empty schoolyard for some reason, I wound up gazing. Without thinking, my feet had stopped. Occasionally I would see happy children running around, and my eyes would follow them. Under the blazing sky, the long-sleeve pajamas were hot. I felt strongly out of place at the schoolyard. After standing there for a while, I once again began to walk. However, not towards the hospital, but home. And once I returned to my room, I took out the sailor uniform that had been in my dresser. Sleeves that hadn't passed my arms through in 3 years. A just-like new uniform. Previously, they had been worn for only a single week. And now, to me, they were the only clothes other than pajamas I own. Once again, walking under the blazing sky, the noisy cicadas and running sweat was the same as just before. But the people who walked by, their eyes did not pause upon me. Even I, as a part of a backdrop of the city, as part of what builds up to everyday life, felt accepted. And then, when I entered the schoolyard from earlier, it was just before my eyes was a metal bar for small children to play with. I extended my hands towards it. Placing strength into my arms, I pulled with all my might and kicked at the ground. A moment's sensation of floating, and then my body spins around. "It's still okay." I whispered that aloud for some reason while looking around from atop the bar. The strong sunlight made the playground seem white, and the heat made the ground look wavy. Occasionally, I could hear the voices of happy children, and the insistent voices of cicadas declaring that summer was their season. With my arms already beginning to shake from supporting my weight, I soaked up the present. Why was it that I suddenly wanted to do this, I wonder? The exact reason, not even I knew. By now, the times I wore anything but pajamas dwindled. The pressure from the need to do otherwise had also disappeared. Did I find that to be sad? Or perhaps I wanted to test if I still had the strength. I should be the same as everyone. Should be the same as the normal people who were over there. So, just from a somersault around the bar, I shouldn't be making such a strained face. Because I felt that way, I forced myself to smile. But just as I was unable to stop the shaking in my arms, it seemed that, too, was difficult for me. Cicadas' calls filled the air. Hot. Even though it was still morning, the asphalt looked wavy from the heat. Today also looked like it would be a hot day. And in that, as always, I headed towards the hospital alone. With this distance, even though I could have gone in pajamas when I had to go out, I've come to wear my sailor's uniform. Most likely, I was still wavering. How long this wavering will continue, not even I knew. One day, I may suddenly just be able to give up. It was just that I had come to think that the span of 3 years was more than enough time for a person to change. Then, passing by that school and as the entrance to the hospital was before my eyes... Damn. The button is falling off. In my hands was a small tote bag. I noticed that the button that held the handle was fraying off. How long it had been like that, I didn't know. But coming all this way, I wasn't going to go back home. So I held the bag to my chest and continued towards the hospital. The usual doctor, the usual exchanges, and today's examination ended. When my body's condition was stable, it was once a week. 3 times a week seemed to be the sign of a short hospitalization. With this, my week's examination was over. As I thought that, I headed towards the exit on the first floor. In the afternoon, the doctors weren't seeing patients, so the halls were mostly empty. Occasionally, a doctor would walk by with a group of intern-like people in a row. Nurses rushed to the first aid window. A patient, probably under dietary restrictions, was in the shop buying snacks. The wristband was visible, green, which I heard was for digestive disorders. All of this was just the ordinary, everyday hospital. And in front of that shop was the first time I met her. Hey you! Suddenly, her bright voice called out to me and surprised me. Turning around, before me was the pajama-clad figure of an One-san I didn't recognize. I thought it might have been someone I met while I was admitted here, I just didn't recall the face or figure. Yes? That button, it's falling off, you know. As she spoke, she pointed at my tote bag. It might have been a simple act of kindness, but since I had already noticed the problem, I had trouble finding a reply. Oh, why yes it is. Why yes it is, that's it? You've nothing else to say? Thank you? As I spoke, I lowered my head a bit, because I already knew my reply came out hesitatingly, but even then it was too difficult to say thank you very much. The One-san that I hadn't seen before, her long black hair and bright voice left an impression. Looking at her slippers, the kind provided by the hospital, she was probably not an outpatient, but admitted. Looking at her thin wrist, her wristband was white. That was a color I hadn't seen before. Say, how about I fix it for you? I have a sewing set. But, at her sudden words, I hesitated. But not over a button that didn't mean much. These past few years, because my existence was always only being erased, I had absolutely no experience with someone actively trying to relate to me. Don't worry about it. Look, come here. Don't worry, it's not like it'll be a weird place. With those words, she started walking briskly. While wrapped in mixed feelings, I followed behind. We got into the elevator. Without a word, she pressed the button for the highest floor. 7th floor? Oh, do you know about it? Not much. The 7th floor, the place they called the hospice. I wasn't too familiar with it, and of course I'd never been there. For one thing, I've heard that people not involved with it were barred from entering. It probably meant that if this One-san here was headed for the 7th floor, she was a person from there. Soon, the elevator reached its stop, and right in front of the door was the nurses' station. And when the doors opened, all together, the gazes of the nurses turned towards us. Ah, this is someone I know. With that one sentence, they once again went back to their work. No one looked at us anymore. It was just my first time here, but without putting my finger on it, I thought the atmosphere was especially heavy. The place the One-san finally took me to looked like a lounge area. It was very different from the third or other floors that I've been admitted to, Those didn't have a sofa or the TV. I'll fix this for you quick, okay? With that, she took my tote bag and what seemed like a practiced hand began fixing the button. And like her, I sat down on the sofa and watched. Even if I looked around, there were few signs of people. Occasionally, an elderly or helper-like person was going about. By the way, did you catch a cold or you're visiting someone? Right now, I'm an outpatient. I hesitated over how to answer, but I said the truth. I added that I had just been discharged recently, was an outpatient now. I see, it looks like you've got it hard too. By the way, what club are you in? Club? Well, it's supposed to be summer break, right? As she spoke, she pointed at my uniform. You've been in a hospital, so maybe the literature club? Or maybe the manager of a sports club? Not really, I'm not in any. Oh, that's an unexpected answer. Is it that you hate pajamas? At the sudden perceptive question, I couldn't find the words to respond with. It's not that I hated pajamas, but I sensed that the precise reason would be difficult to put into words. And what that One-san had asked was probably aimed straight at that. She hadn't simply been asking whether I liked pajamas literally. One-san, you're someone from here. Yeah, even though I look like this, I'm a resident of the 7th floor. I guess the short of it is, someone whose death has been confirmed. That which I had only known on the level of rumors was now clearly spelled out by a resident of the 7th floor. She used the word death in such a bright and relaxed tones. At the least, it didn't seem like I could comprehend. This person, what on earth could her thoughts be? Hey, if it's alright with you, come again to play. Me? There's nothing to do and it's boring. Plus, for here, the visiting hours go until late. And with that, she told me various things about the 7th floor. Up until now it had been vague, but it seems that the rumors that this place was to wait and die were true. There are other rules, but I can't say any more. Why? Well, that should be obvious, because you are not a resident of this place. It was only then, when she whispered that, did her face cloud. I felt that expression held loneliness, and seemed filled with intensity as well. Right now, I was wearing these clothes, steeped with a lingering regret for once normal days. And unlike myself, this One-san, no, these residents of the 7th floor, had probably given up on everything, and had already made up their resolve. Well, even if it's just when you come for examinations, drop by, since no matter how hard I try, there's only about half a year left. She said that, and by way of farewell, she once more turned her cheery face towards me. Long black hair, white wristband, and a bright, relaxed way of talking were my impressions. Still, neither of us knew the other's name. My 15th summer. This was our first meeting. Hot. A few days later, I visited the hospital. However, it wasn't like it was an examination day. If it's alright with you, come to play. The words of the One-san I met a few days ago. Maybe because I was somehow concerned about that 7th floor place, or maybe I was curious for some reason. The elevator bell rang. I came to the highest floor. With a nod to the nurses who looked my way, I made my way to the door that the One-san had told me. I gave the door a knock. Ah, yes, come in. The door opened with a click. I came. Welcome, I've been waiting. Come, sit. It was a hot day, wasn't it? Sitting up in her bed, she offered the folding chair next to her. The first room in the 7th floor that I entered felt a little different from the 3rd floor rooms I was used to. Sorry for the trouble, but you know, I was sure that you'd come. You've got plenty of time after all. Why did you jump to that conclusion? Because our job as the sick is to sleep, right? There's no other people in the world with as much free time as us. Oh, you don't think so? Not particularly. But always a cool one, aren't you? Oh, I know. Hey, do you like ice cream? Oh, then you don't like it? Okay, it's decided then. Why don't we go eat together in the cafeteria? You don't have to hold back. One-san will treat you. You shouldn't go with strangers. What? That's what my mother told me. Why are you laughing? Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, really. But that's exactly right. You shouldn't go with strangers. It's Himeko. Eh? A princess is Hime, with a child's ko. And while we're at it, Libra, AB blood type. And you are? Aquarius, O blood type. Setsumi. Well then, we're acquaintances now, aren't we, Setsumi? Burning sunlight and the sound of cicadas. Even in the pristinely white 7th floor, they resounded. The One-san who called herself Himeko. Still, I knew nothing about her. But starting this day, a long summer was beginning. Hey yo. What the fuck's happening? I want to see if that's the lyric. I think it's the lyrics to the song. Yeah, it's just the lyrics to the song. Honestly, I'm low-key hype as fuck for this game. Because the first one was good. It was, like, interesting, and the ending got me. But, like, they're clear. You can tell they're putting so much more effort into this sequel. The other one did not have, like, clips and music and shit like this. Yeah, this is good. Damn, they made a little, like actual animations? That's crazy. This is actually about to be peak. I'm not gonna lie, as hype as I am to do this one, Ace Attorney probably isn't gonna last that long, so I'm gonna have to like rush through this one. Every episode's gonna have to be 30 whole minutes. This is good though. This is a nice song. This is pretty. Also, I love that like if you like look at my arm and shit, it's really not that big. You know what I mean? Like I'm a chunky guy. What's like? This is like right. Gotta get that spot. I'm not gonna get that spot. But it's really not even that chunky. You know what I mean? Like it's mostly like this part is big. Cause I mean. You know, but then you look at it in person, and my arm just looks fat as hell. But then I flex it, and it's like that's like muscle. You know what I mean? Like this part is it's a little flabby and whatnot. A little bit. I ain't too worried about that. I'm not really worried about it. I ain't even worried. Vanilla ice. Let's get it, bro. We're gonna do this one and we'll end the episode. Following the Himeko-san, we came to the first floor cafeteria. We went up to a convenient table and sat next to each other. Maybe it was because it was right at lunch. The cafeteria was surprisingly crowded, not only with people from outside, but also people who seemed involved in the hospital. As for myself, because my home was close, I had never used it before, but more people seemed to use it than I thought. Okay, pick whatever you like. And then Himeko-san passed over a menu with a practiced air. You can take your time choosing. Chocolate, mint, or even sherbet, whatever you like. Shapley continued with her words. However, no matter how much I looked at the menu, it didn't seem like I had much to debate over. Then I'll have just a moment. Yes? Allow me to guess exactly what it is. For some reason, when she interrupted me, she confidently started making her prediction. Certainly, this is a menu with many different set meals and drinks. From the start, the key item, ice cream, only came in vanilla. There wasn't really anything to predict here. Let's see, judging by the air around you, vanilla, right? How was it? Was I right? This is some kind of joke? That's not it. You're supposed to finish the gag with a routine saying there's nothing but that at the menu. I didn't really get it, but the One-san got fired up all by herself. Oh well, anyways, I'll go buy some. As she spoke, she got up from her seat and quickly went to buy. What that was just now, I wonder. Here, sorry for the wait. In a bit, Himeko-san returned. However, on the tray were 4 ice creams! For now, everyone's assigned 2, okay? Why? As a thought came to me, and faster than I could ask, she placed 2 dishes in front of me. And that's how it was supposed to be. And she started eating before I did. Delicious! Yeah, when it comes to summer, this is the only thing. With a nod, I also started eating. It was a sherbet-like ice cream and fit the season with a light taste. Setsumi, is it good? Then try saying it a bit more happily. Yo, why is Boomer playing Grocery Store Simulator? I don't, you know what's crazy? I genuinely, it's because I set it up on window capture instead of game capture for some reason. Because normally when I have it on game capture, I never see those. I never see what people are playing. Like it'll pop up, but like it doesn't show up in the video. It's good. Not like that. More like, how do you say, all this time I wonder, just what in the world does she want me to do? Okay, delicious! Try saying that. Delicious. Okay, next question. Question? First, say chandelier 10 times quick, please. And you have to say it really fast, okay? Snow White. Correct. Maybe she wanted me to answer Cinderella? Okay, now that we're even more revved up, with that, it's self-introduction time. And Himeko-san was still charging herself up on her own. In these sort of situations, I guess I should go along with her at least a little bit. Well, that's what I wound up thinking, but it felt impossible for me. So, what are Setsumi's interests? Nothing special. Then maybe you're good at cooking or something? Not particularly. Maybe you're unexpectedly a karaoke lover, and on top of that, love anime songs and can sing the Summer Machine Gun and stuff. Neko Neko Soft's Natsuwa Machine Gun song, famed for its amazing speed of the stream of consciousness lyrics, are shouted by Mizuhiro's Shindo. It's rumored that people have sung the karaoke in real life. What is she talking about? Neko Neko's... Hold on. Neko Neko Soft. Natsuwa Machine Gun? Summer is a machine gun? Actually, what the fuck are we talking about? There's no way this is like a... Can you, like, shut the fuck your mouth? Is this it? I think that's it. What the, I want to listen to this shit.
We gotta streamline these ideas.
Dude, I don't want to fucking listen to... Shut the fuck up, Grammarly. What is this? Oh, I turned it up. Oh, give me a second. The fuck are we listening to? Every comment is in Japanese. When I sing this at karaoke, I bite my tongue because of the machine gun talk, and my throat closes when I try to sing high, so it's really hard. As a song, this is ass. This is definitely some, like, underground shit. But it seems to be pretty fucking popular. I miss that period in the late 90s, early 2000s when the default kind of anime girl was a motor-mouthed, screamy, feral chaos goblin. See also, Excel, Aisha, Koami, Haruko. Alright, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Not even a bit. Well then, now it's my turn to introduce myself. Just when I wondered if I said all that much, Himeko-san suddenly stood up. Other people wondering what was going on looked over, but it seemed like she didn't mind that at all. Even though I look like this, I really love cars. I carry a national A-rank motorsport license. Ahem. She even straightened up proudly and was excessively wound up. But to me, even if I was told national A rank, I had no idea what that meant. Is that amazing? Well, not that much. In a flash, her energy disappeared. And as for me, instead of that, I was more interested in something else. Say. What? Questions are okay. I'm good with things like rotary engines. No, not that. Is it okay to eat that? Ah, that. Before my eyes, Himeko-san continued to gobble up her ice cream. It might have been obvious, but ice cream was not supposed to go over well with the sick. Of course, I didn't know much about Himeko-san's illness, but at the least I knew she was someone from the 7th floor. Just looking at it normally, a sick person shouldn't be eating that much ice cream. But to my question, hey, do you know the 7th floor's visitors' hours? I was answered with another question. What it had to do with being able to eat ice cream I couldn't see, but I honestly shook my head. I'm sure that on the 3rd floor where I was always admitted, it was from 3 in the afternoon until 8 at night. However, only on Saturdays mornings were allowed. And I had figured out the other floors probably had similar arrangements. Amazingly, only the 7th floor is okay 24 hours. And while I'm telling you, there aren't any real dietary restrictions. Really? Yep. Well, you can't go crazy and overeat, but basically, you can have anything, anytime. While answering, she started to quickly eat ice cream again. Coming from a ward full of restrictions, the 7th floor is suddenly like becoming free. Himeko-san laughed happily as she replied. However, the next words she spoke were in a totally different tone. Setsumi, you know what that means, right? I gave a small nod. What is a hospice? To that, there are people who say it is a place to wait new treatments, as well as people who say that it's a place to ease the heart. I'm sure that both of those were probably right, but for myself, it seemed like Himeko-san's words just now were more understandable. Well, that's how it is, so come any time, okay? I've got time. With that, her usual cheery face returned. Normally, she was like this, but I felt that once in a while, her facial expressions and words she used were very severe. Which one was the real Himeko-san? I didn't know. Most likely, both of them were. Around when the sun, which had been so high, was resting. After I left the hospital, I returned home. The door slid shut behind me. I'm home. At the empty front door, my voice reverberated. From that closed-off room, the moment I opened the door, a blast of hot air had come out. I opened the living room window and let in the outside air. Even just that much cooled the room. Looking at the clock, it was 4 o'clock, still early for Mother to come home. I placed my slightly sweaty sailor uniform in the washing machine and changed into pajamas. And then, after I finished washing the rice to help out Mother, who would be returning soon, I finished the preparations for making dinner. Since I was feeling well at this point, I set myself to doing at least this much. Really, I could just relax in my room, but instead I switched on the fan in the living room. Father and Mother are working in the middle of this heat. For me alone to be in a cool, air-conditioned room, it gave me a bad feeling and I couldn't do it. The door opened then slammed shut. She's home. I'm home! Welcome home. Mother returned from her part-time job. Almost always around this time, she would come home. Setsumi, did you eat dinner yet? Not yet. Then let's eat together. I got a lot of croquets again. Sitting at this table from across from each other, the two of us started an early dinner. Because Father's commute had lengthened, he often came home late, and so the times the two of us ate like this, separate from him, increased. So, is it good? If you want, eat the fries too. You like them, don't you? With that, Mother offered the plate of fries. Before I'd continued to eat them silently, since then, it seemed Mother thought I liked them. You know, your mother since yesterday had been frying the fries. So, these aren't really just leftovers. You don't have to worry. You see, when I said that you liked them, the people at the store said I could take home as much as I wanted. Cheerfully, happily, Mother spoke on. Exactly what were the conditions that led people at the store to say that, I didn't know. But just from imagining it, I was filled with guilt. For some reason, I was pained. So, from now on, look forward to it. In front of such a mother, all I could do was just stay quiet and continue eating the fries as best I could, as if they were delicious. A few days later, with the usual cicadas in the sun consecutively setting record heat, under such a sky, Jesus Christ, I came here once again. A high ceiling, a white room, a small folding chair on which I sat. However, even though I came here, I came here, simply that. It's not like we talked about anything special, and at the least, I never brought up any interesting conversation topics. It was just in the level of sitting next to the unilaterally chattering Himeko-san, making uninteresting responses. Say, one question. Decisively, I tried asking a direct question. Is being with me fun? Yes, when I'm with you, I know no boredom. Sarcasm? No such thing, it really is fun. A Setsumi-chan lovey-dovey kind of feeling. Maybe she's toying with me. I couldn't help thinking that, but Himeko-san was always like this. One-sidedly getting all worked up whenever I said, and cheerfully following her own pace to the end. And then, just when we had that exchange, a knock came from the door. Good afternoon. The person who came in was an older lady I didn't recognize. It was the first time I saw anyone come to this room. Himiko-san, how are you feeling? Well, nothing special, I guess. Today is bathing day. What shall I do? I'm fine, thanks for your concern. Then if there's anything, feel free to say. Once again, the door shut with a click. With those final words, the lady I didn't know left the room again. At first I thought it was a family member, but it seemed otherwise. Maybe it was a helper? Since she was wearing an apron, she seemed like one. It was just that I felt she was somehow different from the other people I knew called helpers. That person just now was, a helper, though assigned to someone else. It seemed that I was right, she was a helper. But because there really did seem to be a difference, Himiko-san explained about helpers here. It seemed that the helpers in the general wards were generally supposed to help people in a physical sense. Depending on the hospital, it could be a job, and there also seemed to be someone who looked upon it as a form of part-time work. Compared to that, the 7th floor helpers, because mental care was relatively important, if you came thinking it was a part-time job, you apparently wouldn't be accepted. But at least for this hospital, all the 7th floor helpers should be volunteers. I see, how admirable. I was a bit impressed. It might have been obvious, but I had heard that those who had not been informed beforehand cannot enter the 7th floor. For those people who by their own choosing volunteer for free for the sake of those patients, I plainly felt admiration. But in my reaction, Himiko-san, indeed, admirable, she replied without conviction. Looking at it normally, you'd think you'd sense a bit of something like appreciation. And then Himiko-san's words from before, though assigned to someone else, that someone else nagged at me. From just those words, one would think that Himiko-san's assigned helper had existed somewhere. But so far, I had never seen anyone like that. Himiko-san's assigned helper is... there isn't one. Isn't one? Why? Because I don't need one. Plainly, that was the only answer she gave. I didn't really understand, but maybe the 7th floor helpers could be refused if the patient said so. Certainly, Himiko-san, when compared to the other people at the 7th floor, could walk normally, and because she is young, was lively, but come to think of it, since I've come here, I'd not once seen any family members come to visit. But that's because now you come. Eh? As if she saw what I was thinking and replied. Thanks, that leaves 3. Leaves 3? Yeah, I wanted a friend from a different age group. You know, isn't it common? 10 things you want to do before dying? And she lightly used the word dying. That might also be because she's on the 7th floor, but to have that word said in a cheery voice was suddenly jarring. However, 10 things one wants to do before dying. What were they? I didn't know. How much time Himiko-san had left, I also didn't know. Looking at it the other way, I could say that there were 3 things remaining. Well, it's like that, Setsumi. If the Bible's correct, it seems that the world was created in 7 days. And so, even with the time I have left, don't you think most of them are possible? Possible? Fuck. That doesn't make a good example. Well, don't say things like that. There's 3 things left, so if you don't mind, come along with me. Looks like we've become friends, the 2 of us. Upon the first week of meeting, I've been asked to go along with the 3 remaining things to do before dying. Himiko-san's words, I didn't know how serious she was, but it seems that I would probably be coming to this place often. As the sun slowly sank and the sky stained orange, I left the hospital. Today, I may not have been at the hospital too long. I was thinking that, as I was thinking that, my eyes landed on the schoolyard. Again, there were children running happily. Even the metal bar I did the somersault on before had plenty of patrons today. Summer vacation, dusk, the voices of Higurashi, sweaty, playing children. Each and everything were the everyday parts that built up the scene of a common day. There was nothing out of place. No one who made a strained face like mine from a single somersault. Fuck. One-san, what's wrong? As I continued to stand gazing, one child that was playing spoke to me. Did you want to play with the bar? Not particularly. It's nothing. With just that answer, I turned on my heel. Looking up, the sky already darkening, I hurried along the road home. I'm home. Welcome home. The preparation for dinner are almost done. Looking at the clock, it was already about 7. Today, Mother had come home first. And together with Mother, we began our usual early dinner. Speaking of which, today you were quite late. I went to the hospital a bit. Oh, today was an examination day? That's not it, but... I worried about how to answer. How should I talk about Himiko-san? Being an acquaintance seems safe, but after thinking a bit, I decided to answer like Himiko-san had said. I went to a friend's place. A friend? Mother repeated my words back to me. She also had a surprised, unbelieving sort of expression. However, Mother having that reaction was probably unavoidable. For the word friend to come out of my mouth was itself rare. Well, at the very least, in these past few years, it had probably been impossible. I see, that's wonderful, Setsumi, making a friend. And this time, she happily continued speaking. To that happy mother, I spoke about the events that happened up until now. That she was a very kind Onesan. That lately I've been going to play every day. That often I was taken to go eat ice cream. My, it sounds like a very kind Onesan. It's not like I was lying, but I wasn't able to say that she was a resident of the 7th floor. Why I thought that, I didn't know the exact reason. Being on the 7th floor wasn't Himeko-san's fault. It was no one's fault, I knew that. Because I was in a similar position, because at some point the people I knew disappeared. I knew it even more so. It was probably the feeling of not wanting to worry her. I'm sure that Mother would imagine that it was a normal patient, or perhaps a nurse. But to deny that didn't seem like something I could do. I know, then starting tomorrow, why don't I make lunches for you? Even this distance, it must be a pain to come back, right? Mother continued, being happy. Lately, my health had been good, and probably hearing I'd made a friend made her extra happy. I wouldn't say it out loud, but I think hasn't been since the 6th grade trip. She always put effort into making lunches for me. Leave it to me, I'll make a feast. In front of such a happy mother, I could say nothing. As always, all I could do was quietly eat my fries. Oh shit. Oh shit. Alright, let me stop this here, because we're late as fuck, but I want to finish the chapter. Thank you so much for watching, I will see you next time! Bye bye!